Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
We are back here. We're live. We are live here at Ross Sterling, where got a special guest stepped into the building today, Dr. Woodland. Just a few things that I believe that in the state of education, we've been trying to get our schedules together, everybody. For those who are jumping in for the first time, this is Generational Investor and Coach Flo tapping in first time. I appreciate you guys who've been rocking with me since day one. And for those who just started their financial journey, whether it's investing, whether it's starting a business, this is the platform for you. So stay tuned, because Dr. Woodland got some nuggets that he want to drop. And I'm going to get out the way, and we're going to just get this thing started.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Woodland, tell the family, who you are, what you're about.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I'm Dr. Woodland, man. Educator, man. Edupreneur, father, husband, community leader. Man, I do so many things. But, my aim is always centered in, kids, students, and just trying to pull out their greatness. You get older and you accomplish what you want to accomplish. And, I'm always looking back and thinking about the youth and how we can get them aware of their opportunities. And, and preferably, with young Black males, but just kids in general, and get them aware of their opportunities outside of traditional pathways, because this world is changing. When you talk about all the finance things of that sort, I definitely believe in financial literacy, and just exposing kids to, of course, you punch a clock, ain't nothing wrong with that. But I just want kids to know that, there are other avenues, lucrative avenues, whether it's online. And I'm not saying don't go to college. What I'm saying is that, when I was growing up, it was always I wanted to be a rapper. I wanted to play basketball. And that was all we were exposed to. But I want this generation to understand that, yeah, you can do that, but just try your best to monetize, your ideas. And there's a lot of opportunities. We're going to talk about all them opportunities.
Hey, man, when I say, since I met this guy, man, he lit a fire in me to just continue to keep on being an authentic individual, continue to just make an impact, and especially in today's time, where a lot of things that's being posted and shown on social media, that is not real life,
man,
And so what he brings to the game and what I bring to the game, I believe this is divine intervention. And I believe that God, brought across our paths where, where other young men, especially Black men, but other young men needs to see a positive role model. He exhibits that. And that is something that I believe that in this education space, we need more positive role models. We need more male figures. Because there's so much that our culture promotes, like you said, the drugs, having baby mamas, broken families.
Yes, sir.
And we gotta know what that perpetuates. And the incarceration system has been taking so many of us and locking us up.
Yes, man, absolutely, man. And I was listening to a commencement speech from a young man that I think he got his master's degree from, I don't want to say Yale, but Syracuse. It was some I was watching this morning, but the point he was making is that the media and how this generation, the media inspires them to the extent that they want to be what they see, And when you talk about those things about the negative effects upon some of, our boys and, the choices. I think a lot of it is exposure, and they need to understand your rapper individuals. They got to understand the profiting off the negative stereotypes, the negative gangster look and the street dude and all of those different things.
Yes, sir.
There's people behind those labels and those entertainment broadcasting companies that are profiting major off the negative stereotypes. They were talking about on Twitter, or not Twitter, but X now, is that they are exposing the location of some of the media that's on there, and they're finding that the media, the individuals that are pushing media negative stereotypes, causing conflict between black men, black women, and all this gangsterism and all these things of that sort, they're in some countries like Asia, India. These are people that they realize, if I put this out, I can make money off this. This is profitable. So my point of saying that is that these negative stereotypes is profitable and is making money. You can make money off YouTube. You can make money off Twitter. X, Facebook, all TikTok. And it doesn't even have to be something as real as going on. So when you talk about the media and the perceptions, we have to take back those things and create our own narratives. That's something that me and my boys are doing in our mentoring class. Is we're doing personal narratives. But again, we have to take back control, and I want young people to understand that the positive images and the positive things it's a life. That's a good life. Doing good things.
Yes, sir.
And that they have to get in the race because this is a global competition.
Correct.
And unfortunately, a lot of times there are other people painting the narratives, and we got to take control of that and know what's going on and raise their consciousness so they can find ways, to get off the media, man, and start reading literacy. Man, our literacy rates in Texas is horrible, man.
And when I say to see the disconnect and the gaps and the work that we have to do to get these literacy rates up, especially within our community, because I know you been in this game longer than me, and in this fight as well, in this movement. I think there's a lot of things I want to ask, but first and foremost, like when it comes to our community, we tend to belittle or make fun of those who looking to achieve or be smart and intelligent. And I want to tell my viewers out there, there is nothing wrong with being smart.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Please, if you don't know anything else and don't do anything else, get your education, because the way the cost of living is going, and it's going to continue to keep going up, into 2026 and beyond, you got to be able to make a living, and you got to be able to have some type of skill. Yes, and sir. I know I've been to college. My man right here, of course, been in college, and got his doctorate and everything. And college ain't for everybody, but there are skills that can pay the bills. Absolutely. There are skills that you need to learn, and trades you need to learn. So you talked about your mentoring program. What made you want to get into the mentorship, and talk a little bit more about what had you start the mentorship?
Man, what made me start the mentorship is for one, just experience. Man, of course, I had my father in my life. My mother was a single parent, and single parent doesn't mean your father wasn't there. I just didn't live. They didn't live together. So, but from that experience and understanding, my parents were 15 and 16 when they had me. So they were young parents. We kind of grew up together, if you want to say. But even with that happening, there were situations in which my father, I'm thank God for him, because he showed me love. I know what it's like for a man to put his arm around you and say, "I love you, son." And my dad empowered me. He would talk to me and push me and to achieve. And he would tell me who I was before I knew who I was. So he would tell me, he would use curse words and, man, you a bad mother, and I'd be like, what, me? He would get in my face and tell me who I was.
Yeah.
And then the day that I started to believe him, that was my natural empowerment. So, but as I grew up, I saw the writing on the walls in the sense of my cousins. I know a lot of them went to jail. Out of probably like 10 of us, probably 4 to 5 of us went to prison. I didn't. And it's definitely a faith background, and we can get into faith too. But I get in these mentoring programs because I know what it's like to kind of feel lost. Even when my father in my life, and we moved from Illinois to Kansas City, Missouri, we started going to the church, and man, those men did the best that they could. But there's a time where I just felt alone, and a lot of the men started leaving the church, and I kind of had to raise myself. So I know what it's like to feel alone. And I wanted to reach my hand back and help some of these young men. So it started off with a lot of this natural mentoring, putting on workshops. When I was in Kansas City, I would put on workshops on hygiene, put on workshops on emotional intelligence, just to help regulate, because in Kansas City, Missouri, the murder rate is pretty high. But I noticed when I did and I analyzed the research, and this is what school gave me, it helped me be able to interpret data, analyze data, and look at the implications of data. And when I saw it, I realized that the number one motive for murder was argument. And the number one weapon of choice was a firearm. So when you put that together, people get into it and somebody gets killed. So now we see a level of lack of conflict resolution. But what I saw that most of these murder victims were black males. And a lot of the suspects of their murders were black males. So I saw that. So I wanted to say, man, what am I going to do about it? So I began to, every young, black boy, I would pull them aside. And then you start looking at other communities and you saw the same consensus of mentorship. So, with starting, I learned how to play the game of chess through a nonprofit program. And then, we moved to Houston here, and, I've been continuing that. But luckily, with Mr. Dawson allowing me to do the mentoring program, it's really gave us, an opportunity to, build and be able to do the mentoring, to start a curriculum. Okay. So with that being said, that's kind of what I have, and I see the data. I see the rates of suspensions. I see the write-ups. I see the interactions with these boys every day, and I'm just thinking like, okay, that was me. I was a little rough around the edges too. So I didn't always. So I wanted to get in and just try to save them, because it's so much that you see and so much they don't know if they can do. So I wanted to say, hey, this is, let me get my hand in it and try to help develop and help them see the greatness in them, the genius that's in them that they don't know. Because the world, man, they love when you rap, you aggressive. They clap, they enjoy the show of seeing your violence, the lyrics,
Correct.
the style. That's entertainment. Although that's not their reality, and it becomes like a minstrel show, and I try to show them that, hey, you're more than just that. You're more than just an athlete. Let's get into scholarship, like you said. Nothing wrong with being intelligence. Let's get into scholarship. Let's get into reading, because the stereotypes are real. The prejudice is real. So, so I wanted to just help them see more than just what the world thinks, because there's so much more that they can do, So I'm just here just trying to lift them up. And again, I even though my primary focus has been African American boys, we have Hispanic boys in there as well. We got a kid that's Hawaiian in our mentoring program. So when you look, that brotherhood, that togetherness, even us as men, we like that,
Correct.
So my core is just to help, repair broken men. But before they become broken, we want to try to get them at these early stages. So,
man, and I say, but you're doing some amazing work, and I believe that God got some great things in store for you.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yes, sir. As far as I know, you got some music that you've been cooking up in the studio. Y'all need to go ahead and go check out Grow.
Yeah.
Man, Grow. I'm gonna leave that in the description. I'm gonna link that up in the description where you can go check out Grow and go on TikTok, and he's gonna put that out there on all the different type of streaming apps out there. What made you decide to title this Grow and just get with it?
Yeah, man. It's just something I was talking with another teacher one day, and we were just, in my mind, we focus on the star so much, and kids want to pass the star, and and I just said, hey, man, let's focus on growth. And the acronym is growth requires ongoing work. So the idea is don't focus on passing. Let's just try to grow. Let's grow from where we were the last time we took our assessment. So hip hop, rap, man, that's the sound of the world, the most listened to genre in the world. So we'll be a fool to say the kids ain't listening, and there was a time I was rapping, putting out albums, but as I'm getting older, I'm working with some AI, some Suno, and I'm learning, I don't have to try to put the raps down. I can use these tools, but the tools are not for profit, but they are for learning, and they're for helping our kids. So, of course, this is one I rapped myself and wrote myself and made the beat and all that stuff. But it's just, I wanted to try to create an anthem, not just for our kids here, but kids all over the country, all over the world, to understand, man, let's just focus on growth. When we take these assessments, yes, it's a incentive for the school, but I want to empower the kids so they can look into themselves and be like, listen, I may not have passed, but I grew though.
I like that concept.
You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of a little background of that.
As we get ready to close out this year, I'm always forward thinking and thinking about what I want to accomplish, and asking God to show me how to become better, and how to just really make more of a bigger impact. Where, as we in this education space, where do you see that there should be some improvement as far as where do you think that we as individuals can help push the movement to continue to grow?
Okay. Yeah, I think that what we could do is really work on our mindset about the system of education. We know that it's flawed. We know that the format and the structure is 100 years old. We know that it wasn't set up to create thinkers and innovators. So that's where our mindset has to come, because has to change. Because I do think within side of this old system, if the mindsets of the teachers and the leaders change, we can work this system and do some great and amazing things and create innovators, thinkers, scholars. But we have to get uncomfortable and do the work and learning about new approaches. I think there's a lot of, and this is nothing with our school, but I think in a lot of our school districts across the country, the mindset is just an old mindset. It's just, we doing the same thing. This generation is different, and we gonna get left behind, and we're gonna get left behind. But as our service to the kids, we need to do the work and dive into their culture, what they're going through, what they're experiencing, and be as culturally responsive as we can. But not only just culturally responsive, if we are limited to our understanding, it's time for us to reach out to organizations, nonprofits, other businesses, or places that are ahead of us. But it starts with us, though. We got to get our minds conscious of what's new and what's happening, because we're trying to do old methods in this new generation. And that's one big thing we want to scrutinize is AI. You got to get with it. You got to collaborate with AI. We don't lean on AI. We got to keep our human ideas because it's based off of us.
Correct.
So even with it being based on us, we have to have a time where we need to look at that as a tool. Man, it's an amazing tool. It's an amazing tool. The things I've been able to do, let's just, and I don't want to get too far off track, but I'm going to bring it back in the sense of just curriculum. Curriculum in itself with AI, man, it don't have to look traditional at all because AI can take your wildest ideas and align it with your teaks, align it with the lesson, and prepare you for the state assessments.
Correct.
But we have to get our district admins, we have to get our principals, we have to get our instructional coaches, we have to get our teachers. The kids are ready.
Yes, sir.
But we have to change our mindset and get out of the old way of thinking. And I know it's hard.
Yes, it is.
But the dangerous thing is that some of us don't know that we're stuck.
I like that.
That's the dangerous thing. We think what we're doing is good, and the kids ain't learning, or they act like because they're not with it because you don't understand them.
Correct.
So I think that I know I'm saying a bunch of things, different things, but this is just a few things that be on my mind about how, because, and I'm gonna say this last thing, I think that if that doesn't change, and especially with the laws in Texas, with the independent schools and the funding going to private schools and the voucher system, public school better watch out. They're gonna start losing. They're gonna start losing their funding because kids are gonna go. And there's going to be little small micro schools and schools that's with it, that's current, that parents going to say, well, shoot, take my voucher, take my 10,000. I want my kid to be ready for the real world.
Come on.
You understand what I'm saying? So I think that we have to do the work and understand where we at right now, 2025, going into 2026, and thinking about the next 10, 20 years from now. Because my doctor is in continuous innovation and change. Okay, so it's in education, but I lead in innovation and continuous change, and so my mind works like that. So I'm on the TikToks. I'm looking around, and I'm keeping an ear to the streets of the kids in the culture.
Correct.
That they on this phone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we got to tap in. So, what you're doing and being on YouTube and being on man, we got to be in the mix.
I agree.
And we can't be so anti-technology that we miss out on how to reach our kids.
Agreed. Because with education, it's not how it used to be with our grandparents, our great-grandparents. And I got a list of family members who retired education field. And, like you said earlier, these kids are different. These kids, when I say they coming from all types of different backgrounds, and let alone the lack of maybe whatever it's reading, math, writing, and all those things are skills, right?
Yes, sir.
And I know this platform, we talk about stocks and crypto, which definitely I'm gonna continue to keep talking about, but I'm also talking about, okay, the skills that you need, which is the reading, which is the writing, which is how to count money, right? Yeah. And if you know how to count money, of course you can invest. And so do you think there is a lack of like motivation within these students that we service?
I think, yes, I think there's a lack of motivation, but there's a lack of innovation. Okay, so we talk about crypto, we talk about the stock market and things of that sort. When and as you're speaking, I'm seeing this in my brain. So when you look at the stock market and you look at the graphs, how many people know how to actually read the graphs? Right? Yeah. So you telling me we can't make a class like that? You telling me we can't collaborate with math and start helping them know how to read stocks, help them understand credit, interest rates?
Come on now.
Hey, that should be a mandatory class.
I think it should be.
Right? And this is the thing. That's why I said saying too early, bro. We gotta push to bring that in. That needs to be an elective.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Because if we know better and don't do better, man, like that's just plain out wrong. We gotta make it happen. Yeah. And understand the things that we could have learned earlier that's gonna help us with life.
Correct.
Right. So I remember watching TV and seeing the stock market was in the red and the Dow Jones. I didn't know. I saw it and they would stop TV and talk about it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm, almost a 40-year-old man. Now I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Imagine somebody know that 13, 14.
Yeah.
How much better they're going to be than us.
Come on, man.
Right?
Yeah.
So the opportunity is for us to bring that into public schools.
Agreed.
Bro, I think a lot of times in our minds, it's this level that, they ain't going to let us do that. How you know that? We ain't tried.
Exactly.
We ain't tried.
I agree.
You got these elective classes that kids go in these elective classes that don't mean nothing. Like, I get cooking and all that, man. Forget cooking, man.
Yeah.
Hey, let's get this stock market class.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's get a real estate class in.
Yeah.
Let's teach them how to buy land or plant a.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. So that's where my mind innovatively goes, is that we worry, and they try to, with law and legislation, they say, well, you can't put these books, and so, all right, cool. You want to try to stop us there? Okay, cool. But when it comes to that dollar, man, that's the language of the world.
Come on, man.
So,
come on, man.
And Texas is kind of doing it. You get schools like Summer Creek, they got a real estate class.
Yeah.
That you can get certified as a realtor in high school.
Yeah.
You got Humble with the the certification to be a barber.
Yeah.
So all of it's there, brother. It's there.
Yeah.
We just gotta quit having these imaginaries. Oh, it can't happen, or they won't let. I don't know who they are.
Yeah. Right. Right.
But we can make this thing happen.
I believe definitely 2026. As like you said, just being innovative. I think the creative thinking. I'm reading articles pretty much on a regular, and most jobs, whether you in tech or you in a private sector, they are looking for creative thinkers. They're looking for people who can communicate.
Yes, sir.
Problem solvers. So these are skills that I believe that we need to start really pushing our students.
Yes, sir.
Our youngsters in general, the young generation, to start thinking for themselves, be able to problem solve, be able to communicate. And like you said, that emotional regulation, EQ.
Yes,
okay.
Sir. Yeah.
I think that's really that's one of those components that needs to be really pushed and is missing because like you said, look at our structure of the family. It's not the nuclear family anymore. No. It's the blended, it's the single parent. That's what's been going on for the last, maybe like 15, 20 years now.
Yeah.
It's not the nuclear, mom and dad, they sit together. You have a lot of broken families.
Yes, sir.
And that perpetuates to the next generation.
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
Man, I think that is we can go back before I was born, the 80s. We can look at the crack era, before the crack era, look at the 70s, 60s, 70s. We were able to see the nuclear family in its most traditional state. We're talking about maybe over half of those families were entrepreneurs, had their own businesses.
Yes, sir.
And this, according to popular belief, understand when I say this, I think that integration was probably one of the worst things that happened. Not about so much as the racial thing, but we gave up everything that we had going on to integrate and lost it, wanting to integrate so bad. So I think that was really a strong breakdown. And then you have a sense of identity crisis within that, and trying to go to places to people that didn't want you there. So I just think that, that breakdown, the moral breakdown of the family, whether people believe or how they believe, but the understanding of the text, the man knowing himself through Christ, and understanding his God-given leadership and ability and having that moral compass and knowing that that's a breakdown. Again, I bring up the crack era. You see so many of the families going to foster home, drug abuse, and different things, and then you're able to see that kind of breakdown. Now we ain't got Big Mama no more.
Yes, sir.
that can help raise the kids. Now, some of your grannies is 40 years old.
Yes, sir.
So that tradition, that cultural tradition, because we look down upon, we talk about slavery and talk about, but even in the midst of oppression, there was still a cultural concept of work, hard work, family, togetherness, and not materialism.
That's it.
So now we're focused more on things than each other. So you don't have family reunions anymore like that. Like, so it's so many things throughout time and throughout history of the breakdown of that family, and that causes single parent, absentee fathers to the judicial system.
Yes.
So there was laws in place. So all of this was, I think self-inflicted, but a lot of it was systemic as well.
Yes, sir.
So, but even with that, that still that traditional family still survives, and it's surviving with you and I, of marrying our wives, raising our sons, our daughters, in faith, and not in victimhood, but raising them to be victorious in the Lord. You know what I'm saying? So again, people have their own backgrounds, and I think some of those things caused a shift too. But you asked me how I feel about it. It's so many. I'm trying to hit everything, but I know it's like, what he said is, but it's so many pieces. But I still just think as a community, which is so resilient, and I still, even in that, we're the most copied culture in the world. Yes. Everybody follows our trends, our music, our styles. We've empowered everybody to believe in themselves and fight with the attitude and want to be like Mike. I mean, and even in the fight for civil rights, that sparked for everybody. I would argue that more people benefited off the civil rights more than we did at the end of the day. Yeah. But it started with, a little boy named Emmett Till. Started with your Chagaris, with your Malcolm X, your Black Panther Party. You have so many leaders, Christian leaders, in the South, fighting, so we never lost the steam, but we took some major hits. But with it all, we're still resilient, as we always been, as a community.
Better, man. I say, well said. And as we switch over to 2026, just a few questions. Just want to ponder on what things that you really was going to give you the motivation and when it comes to like any type of goals you have for yourself, what do you see yourself like for 2026?
Walking, man, continuing to, walk by faith and not by sight. This year, I would say, man, I've been humbled, man. I've always had a level of where I wanted to be, things that I saw myself doing at certain times. And I would say, man, God has humbled me this year and helped and slowed me down. And helped me understand that it can't be based on me and what I'm doing with my hands. Of course, my faith needs to be, the feet on my faith needs to be moving, but at the end of the day, like, he's still in control. And when he says so, things will move. So my goal is to continue to keep the faith and keep moving. Because I even in 2025, I've failed many times trying to do things, trying to get things started and move as fast as I want to. So my goal is just to keep running, keep moving. Even if I slow down a little bit, I never want to stop. That's my goal. Never stop moving forward. don't ever just be still and say, I'm done. Keep running. So that's what I'm telling myself. Keep going. So.
Okay. Yes, sir. I definitely with you on that movement and that mindset. Because this year it's been a pretty good year. I would say a lot of things I was able to accomplish by the grace of God.
Yeah.
And I just believe 2026, I see some great things for you and I.
Yes, sir.
We continue to keep collabing, continue to keep pushing the generation to, really go beyond what they really can going back to grow.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm glad you said faith, because I really want to close out with faith. How has faith played a role in your life?
Man, faith has been, everything, man. A little young kid growing up in Decatur, Illinois, man. I was, a kid that went through a lot of traumatic things in my life. Things that almost destroyed me, man. But it was it was going, my mom taking me to church, man, and listening, but kind of trying to listen, trying to get involved, but it was really when we moved to Kansas City, Missouri, man, and I walked into that church, man, and hearing that preacher, man, it's just one of them preachers, man. You listening to him, and you get older and you start to believe what they're saying. And I can remember just hearing those sermons, man, that just hit me dead in my heart, man. I mean, just undeniable. The messages where you feel like you're talking to you.
Yep.
And you sit there, the tears rolling down your face. You like, man, so faith played a role in shaping my identity and who I believed I was. I had a strong foundation, like I said, through my father, through culture and identity, history that I was empowered by. But then there's a spiritual identity that trumps that, that's going to take you beyond your wildest dreams, and that. So faith has played a role in everything that I've done since I was a teenager, because I believed. I believed in. I remember a scripture was Revelation chapter 1 verse 6, and it was, the scripture said, "Hath made us kings and priests." And I was so what? I'm your royal priesthood. A chosen nation. So we you like, oh, that's me. That's my identity. Once I was baptized, received the gift of the Holy Spirit. That transformation was everything in how I felt about myself and how I felt about others. So faith is everything that I do, the way I see the world, the way I approach kids, the way I deal with people, strangers, family, my wife, my children. Everything is that core of faith, and it's not just, it's the text. It's what the text says. It's your prayer. It's your fast. All those things is around your faith. So when you ask that, man, it's everything. It's everything who I am, because I know what it's like not to be without God, and I'm not the same person.
Amen. Amen to that.
Yeah.
Amen to that. I just want to say, man, appreciate you for taking the time out.
Yeah,
and before we close out, I want you to just encourage all the viewers, whatever God puts on your heart, to motivate them, because this is what this platform is all about, to inspire, to motivate, inspire y'all.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Inspire Church.
Yeah, okay.
We're gonna definitely do some more. We got some more things coming in 2026, and this is just the beginning. Leave some thoughts in the comments. Were you motivated? I hope you was inspired through this dialogue, and we have much more in store for you. Yes, continue, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and we're gonna leave you with some motivational words.
Hey man, any young person is watching, I want you to let the negative words that are spoken over you, spoken to you, spoken around you, I want you to block it out. And I want you to look into yourself and know that you are more than what people say that you are. I need you to find yourself and look and know. And I want you to develop a doggedness about whatever you want. And I want you to know it ain't gonna be easy. This thing is a fight. It's a fight every day. There are things that are opposed to you. There are things that are against you in the spiritual realm. It's trying to stop you. Okay. So I want you to know that God is real, the Lord is real, and you the right person. You're the right person for Him to show His power through. But you got to be willing, So I want to encourage you that you're valuable and you are worthy. Okay, you are worthy in your life, and you matter. I want any young person to know that you matter, that you are important. Your life matters. Okay, so without going into some preaching, I'm gonna leave with that. But just if anything, my last words is that you matter. Your life matters. So
No said, like he said, you matter. God has a plan for you.
yep.
You might not have seen it, you might not grow up around it, but God has a plan for
She
you.
does.
Jeremiah 29:11. Jeremiah 29:11. Peace.
Peace.